So just within a month, we actually received a lot of like bad news regarding the travel restriction. Okay, Singapore and the Hong Kong air travel bubble actually got delayed the third time. Malaysia MCO, which is called like the Movement Control Order, actually got extended. We have like Taiwan actually imposed a level 3 restrictions. Okay, and even Singapore actually went into like partial circuit breaker. Okay, so I mean, as you can see from all this of like entrepreneurs asking, how can we continue to actually grow the business, especially those that requires you to travel, or people who are staying outside of the country. Okay, so for the past month we have been receiving this question, which is why we actually decided to answer this during this webinar. Right, so some of our clients actually have the milestone to actually achieve, like for example, just fundraise. If you just fundraise, you probably need to reach certain milestone to do another round of fundraising. Okay, so or even investor actually getting conservative. Okay, and actually expect you to actually do more than that. Yeah, so these are the few things that this webinar will actually probably will answer to help you to navigate around like this situation. Okay, so I don't think that we actually will be back to business as usual anytime soon. Okay, so maybe you may need to relook into the kind of things that you are doing, how you are operating, and see whether there's actually there are a lot of like new opportunities that you can actually even discover during this period of time. It may not be always challenges, but of course there are new opportunities that are waiting for others to discover, and that is something that you probably want to look into it. Okay, so next slide. So here are 5 tips that I actually talk about that I will actually usually share with our clients and companies that we are actually mentoring. Number 1, okay, take a look at this point. Reconnect with your existing contacts. Okay, so you need to know that during this like movement restrictions, most people actually have lesser or even there's no travel plan at all. So in normal time like this, networking may be mostly about knowing new people. Okay, so instead of just looking into like knowing new people, you may want to reconnect with the current context that you have. Okay, update about the things that you have been doing, stuff like that. So you'll be asking, so let's say if everyone actually adopt the same method, right? And everyone actually receive a lot of like messages and get too busy online, replying message of everyone, stuff like that. Okay, so how can you actually differentiate yourself? There are a few ways that actually you can consider trying. You can even think about the value that actually you can bring to others. Things like sharing some articles that are relevant to what your acquaintance are doing, or people you actually got to know even in a networking event. Okay, or even summarize a few tips and share to them, to connect with them, to get their insights, to share some insights, not just only about taking things from others. You may want to share some insights that you think that might be helpful for others, but of course not too many to the extent that people get annoyed. Okay, so this is something that we actually also practice myself. You'll be actually pretty surprised that your friends may actually value this kind of informations, like especially when networking is actually lesser. You can't actually talk to other people to get new information. So if you actually did it on this, you share one message to someone, and someone actually share a message to another person and link it back to you. So it can be a way for you to actually sort of deliver your message to bigger group of people. Okay, so in fact, I actually have an acquaintance recently. It's not even a close friend, but just people that I got to know via the networking events that I spoke to for like few minutes. Okay, so we actually share each other some private invitation of event like this, and we make some small talk over the invitation. You can see that a lot of people are actually changing job, switching career, things like that. Send an invite, sort of congratulation message, greetings, but not the usual one like for example, LinkedIn. Okay, don't just only rely on the simple, the customized. Okay, automated message and click it, because it's pretty obvious. Okay, you can do it once in a while, but then if every time when you actually talk to someone or someone talk to you, your reply is through automated message, I mean, this does not show how sincere you are. So you may want to, just go to the LinkedIn page or even Facebook page, have a look at some of the sharing that this person actually did. You can always come up with something to talk about with whoever, who you may not even know why are you talking to them. There may not be the immediate objective, but getting connected with someone, especially during this period, is actually a very good opportunities, okay, to even further engage someone. Okay, so yeah, or if you have any things that you actually want to get some insights from so-called expert, okay, so to them, for you, you can position themselves as more of like expert to you, and you can actually get some insights from them. Okay, but take note that like for example, if someone send you an invitation, don't just ask for a summary directly. Okay, why is that so? Because if you couldn't attend the event, okay, maybe you can always tell them that, okay, so today I couldn't attend an event because of this. If you have a playback, I will be very happy to take a look at that. Okay, but don't always ask for a summary, because when someone did an event or webinar, it's not always that they will have a summary. Okay, and if you keep asking them for a summary, do they need to summarize just for you? Okay, so this may be actually quite annoying for people, especially those that you are not close with. So I think be careful in terms of how you actually, try to reconnect with existing contacts too. Okay, yeah. So the second point, pull relevant subject matter expert into the meeting. So what do I mean by that? Okay, in pre-pandemic normal situation, everyone tends to actually expect face-to-face meeting. Okay, so this is pretty prevalent in countries with culture where face-to-face meeting is actually highly valued. Okay, so like for example, Thailand, Taiwan. Okay, because we do a lot of business over there, so closing a deal is pretty tough without actually having a series of like face-to-face meetings with like Thai partner. Okay, even for Taiwan, before the border restrictions, actually we will be there. Myself as well as another partner will actually be there every month. Okay, at least like full 8 to 12 hours of like back-to-back meetings for 4 to 5 days within a week. Okay, so you'll be asking, so what actually happened to the business in those two markets that we have been operating in? Okay, so I would say that actually you may want to change our way of doing business. This is what we did. We changed the way that we do business. So of course, we are very thankful that partners and clients like in Taiwan, they have been very understanding about the situation, because the situation was pretty well in Taiwan back then. We actually have like frequent meetings or interviews, like projects regarding physical activities that involve like bringing Taiwanese companies into Southeast Asian market have actually turned into online. Okay, so it's achieving the same objective but doing it in different method. Okay, so like on normal days, usually we'll actually fly companies into foreign countries and then arrange a series of activities and business meetings. But because of the border restrictions, obviously nobody will fly, or they can fly, but nobody will want to do quarantine and fly. Okay, so that's where we actually match like companies via online business meeting, okay, with other people. Okay, so even during this process, actually we see pretty good result at this stage. Like we even managed to help company to form a JV in Singapore. Okay, and that is focusing on the international market. Okay, so in fact, this is actually a product company. So you may wonder, for a product company, without even touching the product or without even meeting the person who developed the product, how is it possible? Okay, so what we did, we actually sent some sample out to partners from all around the world. We have Hong Kong, Middle East, Germany, stuff like that. So within a short span of like 6 months, we actually managed to kickstart some discussion in that few countries: Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Europe, even Middle East. Okay, so I would say it's still possible to even expand your business overseas at this stage, especially if you are in the industry that is actually growing very well. If you don't catch the wave, I think for you to actually recover after this pandemic, it may be pretty challenging. Okay, so the gist about this is, as a business partner, okay, if you bring back to this point, pull relevant subject matters expert in. As a business owner, usually in the past, you will be needed to actually attend like face-to-face meeting because it's sort of like giving face to another person. And everyone is actually limited by time. So now you can actually even gather team members from all around the countries, or someone in your different entity to join you for the meeting. People who are expert to explain certain matters in the meeting, and you are not pressurized to even be there personally. Okay, so that's why we actually see the rise of the ability that people, yeah, so speakers, like even now we actually see the rise to actually get like speakers who usually will be too busy to even attend our webinar or even speak in our webinar. So this is something that we are seeing. So take advantage of this opportunity to start talking to people, reconnecting with people that you have already met before. It's easier for them to actually put an image to your face. Okay. Number 3, highlight and reiterate the new challenges that customers are facing and educate them about the new normal. Okay, so a few things that you may want to think about it. What new customer needs that your organization can actually address now? What are the needs that they likely have not considered before pandemic when everything is pretty normal? Okay, so because there's always uncertainty. So highlight like what's next after the COVID. Okay, why do I say so? Yeah, too soft. Okay, so why do I say so? We actually see a lot of like companies who jump, into the whole COVID situation, doing things that revolve around COVID-19, okay, revolve about pandemic. Okay, this actually cause some certainty. You may have like high demand at this stage, but when we talk about what's next after COVID, okay, so this is something that you may want to address if you are actually looking for partners to join you, looking for some investment that's revolving around pandemic. Okay, so this is a mistake that actually people may actually make. Okay, you may want to highlight that if you are actually in the business that is revolving around that. So think about the mask situation. I think it's not just Singapore. Different country probably will face this issue. Mask. When the pandemic happened, a lot of manufacturers they actually turned their machines to invest into producing masks. Okay, so it actually reaches the stage that like mask is actually overproduced and the price actually dropped a lot. Okay, so this is actually the same things that you case that you actually can refer to. Everybody jump into it, COVID-19, and turn everything to just produce things that is revolving the situation where only when COVID happened, then we will need it more. Okay, so don't jump into it. Think about the future. Okay, you may be able to satisfy the current demand, but actually what's next after that? I think this is something that you may want to consider, given that if you are able to pass through the waves to able to survive that period of time. Because some people may wonder, at this stage, I'm actually trying to survive. How can I think about future? Okay, I mean, yes, it's true for some people, surviving is actually, yes, is better. But if you can, think about the future too. Okay, so train the way that the customer actually will actually engage your brand. Like for example, you may want to like send some samples instead of like getting down to the physical store to actually try it out. Okay, so like for example, during this period, I was like looking around for some jewelry online. Okay, there are many ways that you can actually buy jewelry now at this moment. But the thing about if you are trying to buy a ring, different ring have different size. Although they may indicate that okay, this is the Japanese size, this is US size, the UK size, but you know that actually if you go to different stores, the size actually varies a lot. Okay, so what this company did that is actually they allow you to actually indicate your interest. If you are interested, just order a free paper ruler. It's actually a strip, a paper that you can actually turn it around on your finger. Then look at the number and buy accordingly. Okay, that's also one of the way that you can actually transform your business. Okay, to connect with people even through online. Yeah. So you can do it even worldwide because sending a paper may not be that expensive. Okay, so you can think about logistically how would you want to do that. Probably you already have partner in each of the country to help to send out this paper, stuff like that. Okay, so these are the few things you may want to look into it. So let's say if it's like buying gadgets, okay, probably you let them experience through the videos. That can be one of the way, or providing more guidance, or even demo videos to help out for customer to actually make such decision. Okay, so number 4, continue innovation if possible. Okay, so overall, certain markets will still be delayed. This one is for sure. But because of that, everyone in the market is actually very conservative. Okay, so this is something that opportunities that even companies can actually take over. Like for example, by right, it's supposed to actually innovate certain stuff. When all your players actually, move back, we talk about things like maybe 5G, stuff like that. When they are being more conservative, trying not to put too much, budget into some new innovation, that's where the opportunity came. So you actually can take up this to have a first, mover advantage, stuff like that. So depending on what business you are in, there may be a new normal, there may be a new way of doing things. Okay, the fact is, post-pandemic, nobody actually knows what is it like. Okay, so if you can continue innovation, try to actually predict what it's like in the next few years, to at least close the gap when actually the situation has been settled down. Okay, number 5. Take note that shift in mass behavior towards the digital will be fast forward at least like 5 years. Okay, so I mean, you can just do a very quick, Google on the search a little bit about this. You know that actually, a lot of people are the jump rate in terms of like getting people to digitalize their business, getting people to adopt digital solution has already jumped by a lot. Okay, so in fact, there's actually a survey, IBM survey, that talk about US retail. The whole decline in terms of like non-essential retailer actually declined by at least 25%. And just by another quarter after that, it was a 75% decline. Of course, some is because of lockdown, but of course, in situation whereby there isn't like lockdown where the retailer are actually open, so you can see this big number difference. Okay, so this actually show that even in developing countries, a lot of people are adopting, getting devices that is needed for the work, for home, stuff like that. Okay, so we also actually see a lot of like solutions that actually offer you to to make your business digitalized. Like for example, I'm running like Shy Apart, so at least for every week, I actually at least receive like 1 to 2 calls regarding the tools to help small businesses. Okay, so home-based business have been also arise, whereby the main channel actually have to be on e-commerce. So I think that's where we actually can relook into the whole thing. You probably can even get reviews. Okay, reviews actually very important. So I'm actually looking for like furniture around. There are many varieties. Okay, there's like showroom, but actually by looking at reviews, it's actually able to help you to actually make certain decisions. We even have like AR technology to illustrate solutions that usually normal marketer can actually cannot do in the past, but there are actually solutions that actually help you to create AR content without even having the coding skills or developing skills for yourself. Okay. Okay, next slides. Okay, so you look at this slide. These are some of the international market entry options that usually people will adopt. Okay, so from what we observe from mentoring as well as from our client, this will likely be the situation, at least for the period that we can't travel, or probably when people are actually got used to it. Okay, so like for example, you take a look. The tape actually illustrate how likely that will happen during this period where border restrictions is there. Okay, so the most popular option is actually distribution at this stage. Okay, but you can actually see there's actually some shift in terms of how it works. There may be creative models. Okay, traditionally it's actually like usually people will just do some markup and resell to someone else. Okay, but in fact we actually see there are new and new models, like some people may even get some royalty or some promised shares if it reaches a certain level, and giving more supports to build the business. So likely business owner will be actually more open to give out more pies at this stage where you cannot travel, and in the past they probably want to hold everything for them on their own. They do not want any distributor. Okay, so now there are actually different ways, and they are pretty flexible in terms of like doing so. So this may be a business opportunity for some people. Okay, so JV is actually lesser now because unless you actually met the person first, but we see lesser and lesser of JV because if you cannot fly, it's very hard for you to meet the person, or you actually cannot sign letters or even open bank account, stuff like that. So we don't see that much now. For franchising, yeah. So franchising, of course, franchising traditionally there will be a lot of like trainings or even setting out new operations, SOP, stuff like that. Okay, so we don't see that much during this period because you can't travel. So these are a few methods that you can actually explore. So M&A is possible, but the valuation of the company may vary a lot. Okay, so it's either probably undervaluated, or you probably can't survive. Some people may actually do some restructuring, stuff like that. Okay, so if you are doing well, you may even want to hold the business to yourself. Okay, so but few things to take note that which is a common mistake made by business owner. Again, don't focus just on like incidental based like events, like for example pandemic. Okay, so you may even do worse when actually it recovers. So if possible, you may want to innovate, okay, to catch the new wave. Yeah, direct export, yes, but local marketing effort is actually needed. Okay, so you may need to relook and invest more in terms of the marketing side and localize it. Okay, open a branch or subsidiary. Likely you will delay because this, unless there are actually activities in the new market that we are talking about. If not, likely this will probably not be the first option that you will look for immediately. Without any traveling down to take a look, to set up new teams, stuff like that. Okay, but doesn't mean that if you are opening a branch just to receive payment, which we actually see in some situation, that can happen. Okay, if you really needed to expand to their market, most people will actually opt for getting a local partner to help them to manage that, because COVID, as of now, if you take a look at this, it's actually quite different from the past pandemic that we have. Okay, there's a lot of uncertainty involved. Yeah. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so take a look at this slide. These are the few typical questions that people will need to answer when they are doing market entry internally. Okay, so what kind of support is needed from the HQ? Okay, so does the business model require strong support from the HQ? I mean, we still see like businesses sending people overseas, okay, if they really need that. But of course, there are a few new things that you may want to consider, because I have actually have background in the HR, where we are doing a lot of like sending people out of the country, or even receiving expats from other countries. A few things that you may probably want to consider: insurance, okay, and also the risk involved. So you may even want to have a risk element to compensate, because it could be a situation where someone actually stuck in the country where the situation was like is like turning bad. Okay, so what are you going to do next? So all this probably you have to plan ahead if you really need to send someone from the HQ to the new country. Okay, so there's actually no playful for this, but just consider certain area aspect, to ensure that the whole process is actually smooth and everyone is safe from that. Okay, so yeah, so you may want to consider this if you really want to send expand overseas. Okay, this is more towards the operational side. Yeah, whether your company also have the capacity or ability to actually build that up, because there are still uncertainty, but definitely there are actually a lot of opportunity that some company will just do that because it's actually a time for them to capture bigger market share overseas. Okay, so I have come to the end of the sharing. Probably we'll receive questions from the floor, then we will answer more from there. Do we have any questions? Yeah, so feel free to actually put the question at the chat box if you have. Thanks, Nicholas, for always being supportive. Yeah, yeah, so I can also share like why I actually decided to have another side businesses during this period where pandemic strike. Okay, most people will be busy settling their own current business. Why I actually jump into that? Because I feel during this period, right, when you are working from home, appearance is actually very important. Okay, so like even doing concord, there's always this debate like, should you dress down when you're having concord? Should you turn off your camera during the concord? Okay, so to me, I feel very important to keep your camera on, whoever that you are speaking to, uh, even like internal team. Okay, that's where you actually can stay connected or maintain minimum like closeness to the physical space and the connecting with someone. Okay, so I mean the idea of like coming up with this business or to dress in like color. I mean all along I like color blazer. People who know me, people who met me, probably know. Okay, I always dress like colorful. Yeah. I mean in the office, everybody always like thinks me that they always see like traffic lights in the office. Okay, so I truly believe like to dress in a different color, especially when you are doing networking, even physical networking, because a lot of time everybody will dress in the same color like black or white, a safe color, and may not actually observe you lah. So it's very important to actually have some characters by physical. Okay, so we have some question. How do I decide which countries are the best to venture into for my business? Okay, there are a few elements that you can actually think about, but at this stage, I think it's very important that you think to think about who would be supporting you in that particular country. Okay, because now it's not like a normal time where you can actually fly anytime. Okay, so like let's say I'm Singapore, if I have I have some business opportunity going on in like Indonesia. Okay, how am I going to fly there? Usually flying to Indonesia is actually very near. So who is going to support you? Yeah, this is the first question you probably want to think about. Do you have like partner or even have like third party who you can even pay them to help to support you to capture such opportunity? Or unless you say that you're actually willing to actually fly there and base there for a while. So it's actually pretty tough decisions to make at this stage. So this is what the first question you probably want to think about. Who is going to support you at that country if you were to venture there? Okay. There are a few things that you may want to consider. You know, like the situation over there. Okay, so let's say if you are there to actually open a physical, retail store, so I would say the risk is actually pretty high. So what business you are at? In order to answer that question, you need to ask yourself, what business are you at, and what's the situation at this moment? Okay, so so like I mentioned earlier, the few international, market entry methods. Take a look at that. What are the ways that are you trying to thinking about, to venture into that particular country? That will actually probably help you decide which country to actually venture into. But actually, truth to be told, it's not always that you have to step into the country physically to expand there. It can be you probably want to test some market. Okay, so we even have like companies that we are mentoring, that is selling online classes. Okay, so online classes, how do I know whether this is receptive in that particular country? Do you need to even go there? No, you can actually even hire a local marketing agency, or even hiring an influencer. Okay, get them to try out to see what's the response like. So with that, it probably gives you that insights to decide whether that is the market that you want to look into in the first place. Okay, so not the okay, it's not just about pandemic. I think at the usual time, if you can do some research beyond just searching online, talk to people, yeah, get that insights first before you actually make that huge commitment to decide which country to enter in. Yep. So I hope that answered your question, Nikki. Okay, so how do I overcome possible language and cultural barriers? Okay. I would say language is not something that you actually can learn overnight. Yeah. So I remember in university, I tried to learn Japanese level 1. Okay. So I struggled a lot. Okay. Almost failed that subject itself. Yeah. So language probably you can't overcome immediately, but there are actually a lot of like tools that help you to do some transcription. If like talking to someone, understanding what the person is speaking. So let's say you are speaking a common language, but to that person, maybe that's not a native language for them. So you may consider doing some typing. Okay, at least through typing. If they need, you can type in their own language. Do some Google Translate or what to find out, to double confirm what the person is speaking about. So these are the few ways that you can do so. Or if not, get someone who is actually who know that language to do some translating, which is pretty common because we actually work with people who are from other countries like Japan. Okay, so they are actually more comfortable to actually have someone who can translate to join the meeting. So that's where go back to the point. At this stage now, it's actually very good that you can actually just pull anyone who are the subject expert to talk about it. So language is actually one of the things that I'm talking about. If you need to get translator, you can easily get people from other entities, people in other office to actually join you to ensure that the meeting is smooth. Yeah. Okay, so I would say for language wise, you can use tool or get someone to help you, but pretty not much of like learning on your own at the short time. Cultural barriers. Okay, cultural barriers it always happen there. But doesn't mean that every time you go to a new country, you need to just adopt their culture. You respect the culture, but doesn't mean that you need to adopt everything, because everybody, they know that you are a foreigner lah. So usually when they know that you are a foreigner, they are pretty, sort of open about like you making some mistake, which is the same as them, coming to your country. They probably will, be very careful for themselves too. Okay, I think try to be yourself. Learn a little bit about culture in terms of how to create. So with you showing a little bit of knowing their culture, that will probably already help for you to overcome that. But in terms of like how people over there works, I think talking to someone would actually help you to solve that at a very short time lah. Better than you trying to figure out and without traveling there to know what is happening over there. Just talk to someone for that. Yeah, someone who actually stays there. Okay, we have another question. How does one find the right local partner? What are the pitfalls and signs to look out for? Okay, finding the right local partners tough. Okay, you may want to you probably need some people even change a few local partners during a short period of time. Okay, it's not so easy, which is why market entry actually is a very long and tedious process. There are a few ways that you probably need to try out working with them. Contract is one thing. I mean, to sign a contract, to sign an MOU is actually a very easy thing to do so. Okay, but in terms of like getting commitment, a lot of times there will be some miscommunication at the very beginning, especially when during the initial discussion, there's actually no clear alignment of sort of objective that both parties want to achieve. So getting the objective right, you need to know, especially during a partnership, never think about just benefiting yourself. Most people would think about them, in this partnership, they will get this thing out from it. But they forgot about thinking what the other party will think about. So it's very important to actually balance it out. What you think the other party will get, will you be able to, provide them this? So this would probably be the first step for you to ensure that this partnership is actually good. But of course, there are a few elements. Take a look at the financial, commitment, not just financial commitment, how stable are they? So a lot of times there might be situation whereby you partner with this person, this person is going to help you to do this and do that, but nobody talk about this financial thing, because likely there is an elephant in the room. And if you don't talk about that, when there's a situation where you need to fork out money, both parties do not want to fork out. So that's where the partnership will likely fail in the local market for market entry. So talk about that, clear this whole thing, elephant in the room, financial, who is going to support that. So in terms of commitment, resources, who is going to do this, who is going to do that. You can write in the contract, but most likely contract is contract. It may not cover everything. So yeah, so few things that you probably want to look out for. In terms of the sign to look out for, okay. I mean, one of the possible sign is like, how fast the person respond to you. Fast doesn't mean that within a day this person need to respond to you. Fast meaning that every time when you message person, will this person actually go missing? Okay, so this is one of the sign. But of course, also need to consider some cultural, aspect to it, because different country run differently. In Singapore, we run pretty fast, so we cannot expect everyone to be running that fast. Okay, sometimes it may be pretty rude to like keep chasing someone else because if we run too fast, we couldn't wait. Yeah, so it's something that we always need to like control ourselves. Chat with them nicely. Anything that we can help you to clarify the previous discussion that we have. Sometimes it can be sharing some things that is not even relevant to the discussion. Send a link over, they probably will start engaging you and talk to you. Okay, when they start to do that, they will feel embarrassed, okay, for not replying you, or they will probably get reminded for not replying you. Okay, so balance between the cultural aspect versus whether the person truly like ignore you. Yeah, so this is how you actually weigh the kind of commitment this local partner, whether they are right for you. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Darren and Eunice. Okay, so anyone have any question? Okay.
We have one more question from Nikki. Do I need to have local connections with people in another country to start developing my business in the country?
Okay, so that goes back to what business you are in. Okay, if you are going to do direct sales, okay, if everything is just purely online, yes, actually you can always do that to develop your business in other country, but it's a matter of how effective it is and how fast it is. So if you get local connection, that definitely help. Based on our experience, that definitely help, and that's what other people also value about hiring us. If like getting getting up to the top, then umbrella, it's an umbrella effect. Getting someone in the top to reach a bigger market. So if you ask me, I would say yes, getting local connection is very important to help you to kickstart, to even have some case study to begin with in that country. Yeah. So, but of course, doesn't mean that developing in other countries is not possible without local connection. Yeah. So, it's a matter of how fast it is, and what are you actually doing. Okay, so if you can sell direct, of course that would be best. You can keep all your profit to yourself. But if not, I mean, why not just spending more to get more result than trying to do yourself and do it for long. So that will be my advice. You, yeah, you actually having local connection will actually help. Yep.
Do we still have any other questions? Okay, so one last question. How do I maintain effective operations at home and abroad?
Okay. Effective operation at home and abroad. Okay. If everybody is like working from home, stuff like that, tools, I think getting digital tools, getting everyone to even on board on all these tools, you need probably take a while, okay, but not keep changing different tools, trying out. So focus on one, because different tools, there's no perfect tools. Okay, so don't need to keep trying different tools, trying to get the best one. Then you end up spending a lot of times doing data migration. You know, but tools is actually an important one to ensure that it's effective operation at home in their own country, as well as connecting with people abroad. Yeah. So I mean, things about, there are few ways. You can have like daily meetings, okay, in every morning. Okay. Not too long. Of course, you can set an hour to it, but doesn't mean that you always need to make sure that you use out that whole hour. Okay. So have a clear objective. If you are a leader, have a clear objective of what do you want to achieve in that meeting. What is the flow like? Okay, so don't leave it open where everybody join the meeting for the sake of being in the meeting. Okay, get everyone to on their camera. I think this is a mistake that most people do, because sometimes probably people just when they probably just on enjoy the meeting without speaking out, and they are doing their own stuff. Okay, so get people to on the camera, to see their reaction, to ensure everybody is actually engaged in that daily meeting. That will probably help to make sure that it's actually effective, and everyone is actually working from home very well, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, if you would like to connect with Jeslin and you like what you're hearing in this session, you can actually connect with Jeslin on LinkedIn by scanning this QR code. Okay, so what is this one-to-one expert advisory? So what BlackStorm Consulting is offering right now is that they are offering 60 minutes free consultation for first-time comer. Yeah, so you can actually visit their website. All right, you can visit their website and then schedule via their Calendly, and then select a slot, and then you get to ask as many questions as you want to get more insights and information directly from Jeslin. All right, so Jeslin is very familiar in the HR space, dealing with like business development, especially in Taiwan. Okay, I see a lot of Taiwanese today in this session, and if you guys have a lot of like burning question regarding on how to exit Taiwan, okay, how to bring your business outside of Taiwan, let's say mainly in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, or even Thailand. Okay, so Jeslin is actually very familiar in this. You can ask her more insights regarding based on her experience by bringing in many Taiwanese companies in these few regions. Yeah, so feel free to drop Jeslin a text. Okay, if not, just DM, slide into her DM or something via LinkedIn, and then just say that you actually attend this session, and like what she's sharing, she's more than happy to answer all your questions. All right, so without further ado, I think that's all for today, and thank you so much for joining us today, and have a very good night.